Okay, today we have Gail Penix with American Eagle Mortgage, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
My name is Gail Penix. The company I work for is American Eagle Mortgage. I've been in the financing business for 30 plus years. One of the things that I think is most important when talking to my clients is get at a comfort level and let them know that they are they have my 100% attention. Let them know that I am, there to listen to them and to help define their needs as their mortgage lender.
Gail, once Tammy were to, send a first-time home buyer or a home buyer for that matter to you, what would be the process then that they would follow in order to get the loan started? And then what's the process beyond that point in that time frame?
What I normally do when I first get a client is I try to define their needs and then of course find out if they are a first-time home buyer or not. We are the #1 lender in Ohio for first-time home buyer programs, and we have all the assistance available. I try to give them information that gives them a comfort level, and then explain to them the whole process from start to finish, from the time that they talk to a realtor and the process that I would have to go through, gathering information from them and verifying the information that it is correct, and once going through the processing and then underwriting. So basically, and I guess I stepped a little bit ahead there, what I do is I talk to the clients. I will talk to them over the phone, face-to-face, whatever they're comfortable with. I tell them that I'm going to ask them a few questions in regards to their personal information and their income, because there's all sorts of things that would help me understand if they would qualify for first-time homebuyer programs. I just lost it.
Okay, so in that process, as a first-time home buyer, I'm going to need to provide to you, I would assume, a fair amount of documentation.
Right.
And just give me an idea, what kind of documentation might that be, just in a real general sense?
For first-time home buyer, the typical things that we have to gather are information of their personal information as far as name, address, social, date of birth, if you're married, unmarried, or separated. We also get your information of your employment, because with the employment, there are requirements as far as what type, how you're paid, what your income is, whether it's commission, whether it's salaried, whether it's hourly pay, how long you've been on, how many hours, and so on. Once I gather that information verbally, I will run the credit bureau and make sure that your credit scores, you are in the credit score range that's required for a first-time home buyer or even existing borrower. Once that information is given to me, I can actually do a pre-approval right then and there once I pull credit and run debt-to-income ratios to make sure that they qualify. Then the next step is to gather the documentation that supports the information they verbally gave me. As long as, and I do explain this to first-time home buyers and existing, of course, as long as all of the information that they verbally gave me can be supported by documentation, then their pre-approval is pretty solid. The documentation we typically require is 1 month most current pay stubs, 2 months most current bank statements, all pages, and 3 years of your tax returns for first-time home buyers. We need 3 years tax returns and W-2s. And that is the typical documentation that's required of all first-time home buyers if you're using the first-time home buyer program.
Okay, let me follow that up. You mentioned something about credit score. I know there may be some buyers out there where they're married and one of the spouses has a great credit score and the other spouse may not have such a great credit score. How do you combine those two, or how is that worked through?
Well, that's one of the things that I determine when I'm gathering the information, if one client is going, it's okay for one client to get, or a married couple, let me back up. If you're coming to me as a first-time home buyer, and if you're just one individual, then I will gather your information. If you are a married couple, or let's say a couple that aren't married and they want to be on the loan together, I still have to gather the information for both of you. Once I get the credit pulled and take a look at how your income, how you're getting paid, that can tell me whether both of you can be on the loan or not. For example, what we do when pulling a credit bureau is we pull a tri-merge credit bureau. We're pulling from all three repositories, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. We put those scores in a numerical order, and we have to go with the middle one. If we're working with two clients that's going to be on the same loan, we do the same with both. We get the middle score, and we have to go with the lowest middle score. So if one
Spouse.
borrower
Right.
is too low, then we can actually take them off of the loan if the other borrower qualifies on their own.
Okay. Thank you.